So I figure what we'll do like a C-car overview. We could go run around and do errands too, get you a car and make all those kind of like logistical arrangements for you here. Does that work?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I just want to give me a call back so we can figure out what time and where. You should probably meet with him prior to the show so you can figure out, you know, what you're going to cover. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay. So, oh, you know who else we need to find their schedule? Mr. McKinney.
I'm a person now who turns up with huge problems. My life's a mess, and I kind of reckon I'm taking too many drugs or I'm drinking and so forth. And I've heard of this place, and I come here, knock at the door. What happens to me?
The first thing that happens to you is you'd be welcomed at the door, given a hug, and asked, you know, how we can help you. Based on, you know, what your response is to that, we could either, if you were still actively drinking or using drugs, we would get you a ride into a treatment center locally around here, make the referral, you know, help you to make the phone calls to get yourself admitted that day, and then call for a ride to get you there safely. And when we did that, we'd also give you our card so that when you got out, you knew you could come back here, because this is, we're known as the recovery place on this street, where there's a lot of active drug use up and down the street. If you had come in here after you had just been released from treatment or from incarceration, we would ask you if your housing was in place, if you needed a recovery house, if you needed to find food, clothing, whatever your needs were. We would have a recovery coach work with you to get all those basic needs in place. We'd also provide you with telephone recovery support services, which is where we would call you once a week and find out how your recovery's going. We would refer you to local 12-step meetings if that's what you wanted. If you needed to be on the methadone program, we would get you an intake on methadone. So we pretty much help people with whatever they believe they need, because they're the ones that know what they need to be in recovery. So from social activities, just having some place to be during the day, so because you don't know what to do with your time yet, we can provide that. There's volunteer opportunities, because helping one another is the only way that we recover. So all those things are what we do here to make it work. And we ask you what it is that you need to make your recovery work.
Brilliant. So there's no therapy as such, no treatment given here?
Absolutely no treatment. Everything is peer-to-peer recovery support services. So I, as a person in recovery, can help another person in recovery, sometimes better than a counselor once they're out of treatment, because I can tell them where the meetings are. I can tell them firsthand what it's going to feel like when you walk in that room for the first time feeling alone. And, you know, I can give you the confidence to do that, or to walk with you to that first meeting. And, you know, you come to meetings here, to the all recovery meetings, and in a safe environment and experience recovery for the first time possibly. But no one on our staff is licensed or credentialed in any way to be a counselor. Everything we do is peer-to-peer. We train recovery coaches in a 5-day training on, you know, there's some parts of treatment models in there, active listening and, you know, understanding stages of change, so we can help people understand where they actually are in their recovery process and make sure we, you know, give them the support and encouragement they need from whatever stage they're in.
So they decide if they want to be recovery champions?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Every quarter we run a Recovery Coach Academy, and at that academy people from all across the United States come, and we always reserve 5 slots for our C-card volunteers, so that each of our recovery community centers always has an active recovery coach on site.
So how would you describe in a few words a recovery coach?
A recovery coach is the best of both worlds of a sponsor and a case manager. So a case manager to navigate the system within Connecticut and how to get the benefits that you need, and a sponsor in the fact that they know how to stay in recovery and are open to different pathways of recovery. Sometimes in 12-step type fellowships, there's only one way to recover. It's got to be that way, or you feel ostracized or not fit in. And at CCAR, any pathway that will bring you to recovery is the way that we're going to guide you, and we're going to support that decision because it's your decision. So.
Okay. What difficulties have you encountered along the way? Have there been any problems? Behavioral problems or anything like that?
There's always little behavioral problems, but I would say 99% of the time there's not. But we've had cases that people who were volunteers here who had keys to the building relapsed and broke in and stole things, and that's always really difficult what to do when they get back into recovery, because as an organization you feel hurt and stunned that we helped you and then you took what was needed for other people. But we've had those kind of situations, and we've had situations where people come in staggering drunk and want to drive, and how we handle that, by taking their keys away and calling the authorities if it's necessary, if they think they're going to drive anyways, or they have a spare key. Those situations have come up. But the one situation that happened here was on Halloween in Hartford. They always have a Halloween party, and we are located right on Main Street in a drug neighborhood. It's known for the drugs, and but we're known as the recovery place on Main Street. Now, the local drug dealer from across the street tried to come to our Halloween party, and so the person at the front door said, you're more than welcome to come, but I need you to know you can't come with any drugs or paraphernalia. This is, about recovery. It's alcohol and drug-free. And the guy very respectfully said, okay, thank you, turned around, went home, and came back about a half an hour later with his wife and 2 kids. And they stayed the entire night, and there was no altercations, or there was no situations that occurred. So where else can you find that? Like, even the drug dealers respect the fact that this is, a place to try to help people.
So it's a dry, clean place?
Yes. Yep.
So how do you deal with people who turn up who are under the influence?
Well, we ask them if they want help. If they don't want help, then we tell them they can't be here today, but they're more than welcome to come back tomorrow if they're clean.
So how did Cheryle end up working here for CCAR?
Yeah, well, that's quite a story. I came here through volunteering. I had worked in telecommunications for 20 years, and I lost my job after 9/11. And after that, after a long time of trying to find another job, I decided that opening a recovery house in Connecticut, in Meriden, where I live, was going to be what I was going to do, because the only thing I knew how to do was be in recovery at that point. And I opened this recovery house, and someone from CCAR, who I had never heard of this organization, called to say, would you be willing to come up and talk to us about what your guys need? And I did. I came up for about 1.5 years, and I explained, what the needs were in my house, and I kept doing that. And then I volunteered at the recovery walk, and after the walk was over, I got a phone call from CCAR saying they had just received funding for the recovery housing project, and was I interested in putting in an application and managing that project. So in 2004, October, I got hired to manage the recovery housing project, and it was a phenomenal experience because that was my passion. And I was able to organize all the recovery houses in Connecticut and create a coalition and create and develop a training. So you want to open a recovery house, and we tell people how to do it here in Connecticut, and we're currently running that training in South Dakota and Virginia. So It's becoming a national model, our findrecoveryhousing.com database, that anybody in the world can list a recovery house, and have any addict or alcoholic looking for a recovery housing can access that database and find a safe and affordable place to live. So then after that, I had been in that job about 1.5 years, and there was a job opening for the Director of Operations, which was a lot more my business background, and I applied for that job, and here I am today, doing what I love to do. Doesn't get better than that.